your just normal everyday civilian doesn't realize what goes on inside the walls of the jail. It's like a city within a city.
County jail is the first factor in public safety to safely hold those individuals who have been charged with a crime until the courts make a decision on how to proceed with those charges. When an arresting officer shows up at our side port, it doesn't matter how many beds we have or how many people are in our population, we have to do our part.
They have not been to court, and therefore they're presumed innocent until found guilty. So we have to treat them in a humane way and allow them as many privileges that they can have on the outside. Now, the reason they're not on the outside is either they could not make bond for whatever reason, or they are a major risk to the public. So that's why they're in there.
It's a constant battle to make sure that we can keep our numbers down, because we don't get to say we're open 24/7, 365 days a year. We're always here. Good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just the nature of what we do.
You have Moses with the law. They're obsessed with getting out, so doors are in their mind. And then they moved around, and this is their story of, or their depiction of what Christianity was, or what a chapel should look like. And then you get over to the disciples on your far left, and there are not 12, and the interesting thing is there are 4 outside the bars and 4 inside the bars. They made them repaint the picture and put their arms down, because the original picture that they had painted had them flashing gang signs.
This building was initially built in 1977. And it was originally built for less than 300 inmates, and it had courtrooms and offices. And over time, they ended up restructuring this building, removing the courtrooms and offices, and turning those into holding cells for the inmates. Well, we have 505 beds, and if I took a 90-day average, we probably are close to 540. Today we have 583, the last I checked. If we take an average of every inmate that comes through our system, they're averaging about a 7-day stay. But generally speaking, we have people that come in for hours and some that are in here for years.
Please help me, I need y'all help. They're doing me wrong here.
It's getting out of hand. The jail is overpopulated. Everywhere you go, it's 85% black male. And that's all over the United States.
Bro, I swear to God, bro. Whoa, you scared me. I don't want no help in this jail.
Yeah, I needed y'all, man. I needed y'all real bad, man. Cause some guys broke into my house and assaulted me, and the police came and locked me up for it, honestly. And I've been in here a year, and everything else that happened during the year.
I need to just hurry up and just let the ones that's innocent free, and the ones that's guilty be guilty. But I'm not God, so I'm not here to judge anyone.
The justice system is not perfect at all. So there's no such thing as a speedy trial. The police are doing their job, they're bringing them in. But then limited resources, limited space, and the magistrate's got to see them all, and got all this stuff going on. And so some of these guys will get out on bond, some can't bond out.
The jail, the way it's set up now, we have what is affectionately called the Rock, and that is a large concrete room with a concrete bench and a toilet at one end. And you can have typically 30 to as many as 70 guys in that one room. And so as somebody who's never been in that kind of environment, you get brought in your clothes, no shoes, you get a blanket, and now you are sitting in that room for 12 hours, a day, 2 days, 3 days. We've had guys down there 5-6 days.
Hey man,
man, our sink don't work, man. Dehydrated. Need some water in here.
If their sink doesn't work, it's because they're flooded, they've had to be cut off.
In a 22 by 24 foot cell, there was about 26, 28 people. Dude, they had to move people upstairs for about a week. And then after that, I'd seen people strapped in chairs, mazed, beaten, tased for minutes on end. And just because they wouldn't obey and take their blanket off of their head. But I didn't think that was a really good reason for them to be mistreated and dehumanized.
I need medical attention.
And I see anywhere from 8 to 30 to 40 inmates in here a day. And if there's an emergency, they'll be brought up immediately. We try to see them within, the first couple of days that they put the request in.
Our job is extremely unique. My officers will come in contact with more felonies in a day than most patrol officers will come in contact with in a year or so. And in the jail setting, there's some of them that are actually innocent. We tend to lose sight of that every now and then. Having said that, we keep pretty bad people away from society. It's a real important job. So in our environment, to maintain our own sanity and the safety of you got to have a certain temperament to know when to turn it on, turn it off.
We count all the blood draws we've done, all the use of force, all the attempted suicides, all the inmate on inmate assaults, inmate on officer assaults. That's mainly what I'm working on here. If you look at a gang interview and understanding that, going through that whole process, then looking at their classification, any other issues that we might have, it can take 2 hours, give or take, to ensure we have the right housing situation for any one individual.
As far as their housing location, I try to keep a pretty balanced number, because if you get 6 gangster disciples and 1 blood in the cell, there's typically an issue. But if I keep it pretty well balanced, then it cuts down on problems here.
There's the requirements that are in writing, you put in your policies, and then we have to validate or verify that our practices match our policy. So that means a lot of documentation. So while they're trying to get those checks done and feed the inmate population and pull for courts and pull for programs and answer questions and deliver supplies, it's just the tempo for this operation is extremely fast-paced, and that is another added pressure.
And all this is going on, understanding that I've got some inmates that want to fight other inmates. I've got some inmates who have mental disorders. Right, wrong, or indifferent, correctional facilities usually provide more mental health care than the mental health departments do. Moccasin Bend has 150 beds or so. They cover 9 counties. I've got 500 so beds here. And at any point in time, we have about 20% of mentally health people that act bizarre, do strange things, break the law because of the mental illness. They end up here.
We spend almost 50% of our day, every day, dealing with inmates who have mental health issues. And we're not trained for that. We're not mental health professionals, but that's what we're dealing with.
The nurses go around twice a day passing meds. If an inmate has a problem, they'll let them know verbally, or they'll go on the kiosk system and put in an inmate request form. But you really have to weed out the ones that really need help and the ones that are trying to manipulate the system.
There's people in here that having real medical issues and not seeing no mental health. We can't even get no meds.
Somehow somebody down there
and we are forced to deal with it. I ain't even got my medication period since I've been here.
Well, have you submitted a request?
I don't submit a request, talk to her 5 times. I don't wrote mental health. I got my family on the street calling up here. They don't talk to the lieutenant and the sergeant. And I've been asking the lawyer to get on it. I wrote the judge twice. Still nobody. He have a panic attack.
We have one mental health professional that's here a total of 10 hours a week.
Yes.
That's all we have access to.
The greatest pressures on my personnel have to do with not having enough personnel to man and operate this designed facility. They're great at what they do, dedicated, loyal, willing to work longer hours, more days in a row in order to get the mission done. But that has an impact on each individual mentally, physically. It causes their stressors to be higher, so then their communication with each other or the inmate population may not be as good as it needs to be. That multiplied with the thoughts of the possibilities of a new jail causes another set of stressors, that uncertainty that they think, number one, we feel like we're not being supported by the elected officials who know that we need more people to do what we do safely. But on the other end, we may not even be employed by Hamilton County Sheriff's Office very much longer. So some were looking to go work somewhere else, which again adds more stressors to the ones that are staying here because we don't have enough staff.
In here, us as sworn deputies, we're sworn to, protect citizens. These people are still citizens. We're not here to say they're guilty. That's for the judge and the courts to do. I mean, we're here to make sure that they're safe while they're here and they make it to the courts to go through the system.
In fact, I think consistently every grand jury report for the last 6 or 7 years says you need to turn your attention to replacing this facility. It's outdated, it's outmoded, it's got inherent problems with it, so it's time to look at that. Because we're now looking at a new facility, we're going to have an opportunity to get this right just once, because whatever is built, it's going to have to last for 35, 40 years or longer.
The trend across America is for county jails to move out of downtown and to be more a one-stop shop, if you will, where it's more like a judicial complex where you have a more efficient process where inmates are coming in from arrest to going right to a courtroom with less movement to a courtroom outside away from the jail. And so I think that what we need here is exactly that.
Just stay out of there. Stay out there and try to stay away from all the trouble you can.
It's a lot easier to wind up in here than you think it is.
Easy to get in, too hard to get out.
Don't hang out with the wrong crowd either. That's how I ended up in here.
I mean, there's just several things that just don't and aren't okay to do to other human beings that are going on in this place. So, I don't know what kind of documentary you guys are making.